Some, as a result of pains and broken hearts suffered from past relationships, have vowed not to let go of the hurt. They've clung to the pain, and this has made them not be able to move on to other relationships. Don't let the pain and the hurt of what you've gone through as a child affect how you view relationships and marriage. The more you hold on to pains such as rape, abuse, and a broken heart, the more you deprive yourself of joy. The Bible tells us that he who finds a wife findeth a good thing, and obtain the favor from the Lord. Don't allow memory to affect your future. Through the power of God's healing in time, you would forget all the nasty experiences of the past that makes you view marriage as evil. It's become a norm for young people to set unrealistic goals, and they have unrealistic expectations concerning whom they want to marry. This does not mean that you're not free to have the ideal man or the woman who you feel meets your need or criteria as an ideal husband or a perfect wife. However, you must also understand that humans are not perfect, and the only way to get that perfect, ideal husband is to form one with your bare hands, which is impossible. Getting to know that your spouse-to-be might not meet up to all of your set-up standards, and that you will likely compromise on working on some little flaws of his or her is going to help you to get married faster. If you keep waiting for Mr. or Miss Right, then you might likely never get to marry, because everyone has their flaws. This does not mean that you should not have an ideal goal of what your spouse should be. They must tick most of your boxes. However, things like physical structure, beauty, or cuteness are things that should be considered secondary. They are likely to fade with time. Don't get too choosy when you want a spouse. Consider someone who is truly serious and sincere about his or her feelings for you over someone who will likely dump you after using you. It's also important that it's not only when you are rich that you can marry. As long as you have a spouse who understands and they are willing to support you, then you're good to marry. Don't delay yourself by setting goals that can hinder you from getting married on time. It's especially common among men and women who pursue careers, money, or wealth and refuse to give in to love at the appropriate time. They then end up marrying at an advanced age when no one wants them again. Everything in life should be done appropriately and at the right time. Having a good and a loving character are important, especially for someone who looks forward to being in a relationship or a marriage in the conceivable future. Your character must be loved and cherished by people who will likely have an interest in you or someone you're trying to woo. The kind of character or attitude you exhibit, either good or bad, will determine the type of people that you would attract. People who have very serious and sincere interests may be pissed at your character. This in turn would lead to a marital delay because they might not seem to find your character appealing or healthy enough, and this might make them see you as incompatible. Nobody wants to be associated with a spouse with bad or questionable characteristics. Your attitude and reaction to situations and circumstances say a lot about who you are. This is why you must be of a godly conduct, no matter where you are and where you go. The truth is, people are watching you. They know the kind of person that you are, and that would influence if the right suitors will come around for you. Philippians chapter 4 verse 9 instructs us by saying, "The things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you." Matthew chapter 5 verse 16 also says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." It's even more important as a child of God and as a believer that you have a godly conduct that attracts the children of God to your life. Friendships dictate has become one of the major points of marital delay. So many people have allowed pressure from their family and friends to dictate how they live their lives. It gets to a point in their lives where they feel left out, all because they feel their friends are all married. Marriage is about marrying the right person at the right time. There are people whose mindset has limited them to marry from certain tribes or families. There are also others who feel that they can't be married to some certain set of people or people who have no car or affluence. This is so because of the mindset that they gained from their tribe, family, and friends. There's a certain tribe in the country of Nigeria where the bride price is usually considered an obstacle for young men who aspire to marry young women from such areas. This in turn has led to many people having late marriages, especially men from those parts, because they believe they must be rich before they can marry or pay the extravagant bride price. Others believe that the place of height, complexion, nativity, church affiliation, and so on should be basis of the marriage. You should not let all these expectations and peer pressure delay you from marrying whom you love, as long as that person is approved by God. The feeling of being inadequate, financially, physically, or psychologically, has deprived so many of the greeting married. Low self-esteem and image have driven some people's confidence low. People who feel affected the most are the physically disabled, the ones that have been scared by accident or from birth, and those who have a form of deformity or the other. This has made so many of them lose confidence in ever getting someone who loves them. Others who fall into this category are also those who had children outside wedlock and single mom or dad and widows and widowers. There should, however, be that belief that someone out there loves you for who you are, despite your deformity, flaws, or scars. Through the power of God, you will feel loved again. So don't be afraid to show yourself. Hold your head up high and let the world see that you are not bounded by deformity or past mistakes. You're much more powerful, beautiful, and capable of love. So you must appreciate yourself and accept who you are. Everyone created by God was created unique and different. You have something in you that others need, no matter how brilliant they seem to be. So many young men and women have all the qualities to be married, but are always faced with one form of spiritual attack or the other. In this case, we can say the cause of their marital delay is a result of a spiritual oppression from the devil and his agents. So many wonders why they can't get married or hold a spouse for long. There are situations where the guy or the lady experiences a breakup all the time, and it gets interesting when the breakup occurs for the same reason. Others experience spiritual attacks from spirit husbands or wives. To break the yoke of late marriage, you must be ready as an individual to go to God in prayer and seek His face through God's word. You must, however, genuinely surrender to God and give your life to Him for your prayers to be answered.